Sports fans, PB&C Sports Chaos. And PB, you had a wild day yesterday. You went to the big outdoor hockey game, right? Last night?
Yeah, the Winter Classic.
The Winter
Unfortunately, the
Classic.
game wasn't that good, but the experience was amazing. Just to be in outdoor hockey and the whole vibe that goes with it. It was pretty cool.
And by the way, there was a big game there on Thursday as well, right? The
Yeah,
Orange Bowl was
the
played down
Orange
there.
Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of those games, real quick, Miami absolutely trucked Ohio State on New Year's Eve. That was a huge one in the Cotton Bowl. I was totally impressed by the way Miami played on both sides of the ball, and some of the hitting in that game was just ferocious. I mean, I could feel the hits myself sitting in the living room. Miami came to play. I we're gonna predict this later on in the week, but I got a feeling that Miami beats Oregon,
Ole
not
Miss.
Oregon, Ole Miss,
Ole Miss.
and gets to the final. Speaking
Yeah,
of Ole
I
Miss,
mean,
Ole Miss
go ahead.
shocked Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, right? That was a
Yeah.
shocker. They were down by 9 points, much like it was earlier in the season when Georgia was down by 9 points. The regular season game they played came back and won. Same thing with Ole Miss. Trinidad Chambliss is going to be a household name, I think, going forward. What do you think?
Really? All right. You think he's going to be a make an NFL team and start?
I've heard too many people talk about him. I mean,
Yeah.
I hopefully I think he has eligibility because he played at Division two, so he probably can come back, which would be a smart move in my opinion. Because the other quarterback that they had at the start of the year already left in the transfer portal. By the way,
Right.
5,000 kids are already in the transfer portal as of yesterday.
Oh,
5,000 college kids. That's unfreaking believable.
it
But the
is.
game that blew my mind was what Indiana did to Alabama. Freaking Bama got absolutely hammered and steamrolled by Indiana. That was a beatdown like I did not expect at all. I thought Alabama would cover the spread, maybe even win the game. Not even close. This is going to be an interesting matchup because they got Oregon in a rematch. So here's another rematch game in the semifinal. That one is on Friday night, I believe, in the Fiesta Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. So that will be interesting to see. Oregon, by the way, no one's really talking about them. They completely shut down a Texas Tech team, which G Money kept on telling us was the best team going into the playoff, blah, 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 blah. They're going to roll over everybody. Their defense is unbelievable. And their offense is supposed to be pretty good as well. They have a high ranked offense, averaging 30 points a game. They got
Yeah,
shut out 23-0.
I
So
know.
Oregon, right now, if you would ask me, I get Oregon playing Miami in the final.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, every game was pretty much a blowout. Number one. Number two, all the teams with the
Oh
first round
no,
buys.
The Ole Miss Georgia game was a dogfight, right?
That was right. Yeah, they had to come
Ole
back from
Miss
the
had
yeah.
to get into the fourth quarter. They had
That
to kick that field goal with like 2 minutes left. So
yeah. That
actually,
outside
40
of that
seconds
one.
left. 40
But
seconds left. That's right.
but here again too, all the teams with the first round buys lost except for Indiana. And if you remember
Correct.
last year, they all did lose. So teams ranked 1 through 4 getting first round buys are 1-7 now since they expanded the college playoffs to
Yeah.
12 teams. So that tells you a little something too about this whole thing. I do like the way Oregon's playing. I like their momentum. You know, I think to your point, Miami can get past Ole Miss. I'm looking at Miami getting into that final, but I think Oregon's going to have their hands full with Indiana. I'm not writing that one off just yet.
Oh, I
But
agree 100%. But I like the old adage: it's hard to beat a team twice in the same season, right? So
it definitely is, and we just saw that with Georgia. Um,
yeah, we
so
saw that in the first round with Oklahoma and Alabama.
yeah,
Alabama, which came back from 17 points down, lost to Oklahoma early in the season, so they won
right,
that game. So
right.
it's
So do you
it's
think the
proven to be
winner?
tough.
Do you think the winner of that Oregon Indiana game is going to end up winning the championship?
And the way that Hurricanes are playing on both sides of the ball right now, they have not looked like this since the 2001 team that won the championship, dominating on both the offensive line, the defensive line. And what I like is their receivers, Meliconi, Tony, those guys, they all block. Their receivers block. It's unbelievable. And not just like, shield blocks. I actually see them going into the shoulder pads and putting body on some guys. So I don't know. At this point in time, I can't say for sure. Everybody's talking about the defensive line of Texas Tech and all other stuff. Miami's defensive line with those two studs, right? Ruben Bain and the other kid, I can't pronounce his name, Irad or whatever it is. Those guys, they are wrecking balls. So I'm not so sure.
All right. Okay.
All right. So speaking of playoffs, we actually have kind of playoff games starting today in the NFL. We got 2 games today. One game is for the top seed in the NFC. The other one is for the NFC South to potentially crown a winner. This game, I heard somebody talking about this thing that was on Get Up. The Carolina game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should probably play the same time as the Falcons game tomorrow, right? Because now they got to sit around and watch that game if Tampa Bay wins. So let's get right into it. What do you think happens in this game? Carolina goes to Tampa Bay. Carolina, by the way, a little fun fact. They've won 8 games as straight up underdogs this year.
Yeah. And if we go back to the theory that you were just talking about with
Winning
hard
twice.
to beat the same team twice, Carolina already beat Tampa in Carolina.
Right.
Now they have to go to Tampa. That tends to make me think, I should be taking Tampa here. But Tampa's lost 7 of their last 8.
I know it's
This is the ultimate backdoor into a playoff. I mean, Baker's playing hurt. Let's just face it. He's playing hurt. I think Carolina has a little bit more mojo in them. And I think they have a little bit more fight in them. And I've been going back and forth on this one. I really, really am having a hard time coming up with who I want to take in this game. And the obvious choice is take Tampa because Tampa's at home, all that kind of stuff. And then that makes the Atlanta-New Orleans game tomorrow matter, which will be good for the NFL and good for viewership and everything tomorrow. But you know what? I think Carolina just puts an exclamation point on this thing and just says, we're taking this division, see you, bye. And so I'm taking Carolina. I might regret it, but that's where my head's at right now.
I'll tell you what, much like the Rangers did yesterday, I think the Bucs are going to steamroll the Panthers. Panthers go down again like they did yesterday in outdoor hockey.
All right. And I think do you have G Money's picked? Yeah, I got it right here. He has Tampa as well. So I'm the lone wolf there. I wanted to take my initial picks. I had Tampa, but then I just started thinking through everything a little bit more, and I landed on Carolina. We'll see.
All right. Well, the other game for the number 1 seed tonight, Seattle plays at San Francisco. This is the second of potentially 5 straight home games for San Fran, which means if they run the table, that includes Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I had San Fran all along up until I heard a stat today. Seattle is 9-0 as a road favorite, which they're a favorite in this game. Seattle is tonight. I'm going with Seattle.
Interesting. Okay. G Money's got
By
the Niners.
Way, here's my thought. San Fran, everybody's saying, oh, they're playing so great, they're on a roll. Their defense is horse crap. They're giving up almost 30 points a game in their winning streak. And I think Seattle, one, can play defense, so they might be able to shut down that San Fran offense, which is still going to be kind of hindered. They don't have Brandon Ayuk because he went on a temper tantrum. He's not on the team anymore. Kittle's kind of hurt. He's supposed to play. Trent Williams is not going to play at left tackle, so they're going to be weak. I think Seattle goes in and pulls that win off, and San Fran gets them 1 seed.
All right. I'm not sure. I agree with you. G Money has the Niners. I think I'm leaning Niners as well. I went back and forth on this one. Darnold sometimes has a hard time showing up in games that matter and also prime time and everything else. So
that's the X factor. That's the X factor.
And I love, what you said, like Trent Williams, I thought he was still questionable. There's a chance he might play. Maybe he's already been ruled out. Kittle supposed to play, although he's a little banged up. Ricky Pearsall's supposed to play, but he's a little banged up. But you know what? You know what matters the most? CMC. And CMC can take control of this game all by himself.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure that Seattle can stay up with them and Donald can keep up with them. They got to establish the running game. If Kenny Walker and Zach Charbonnet can run the ball efficiently, that might change things. But right now, I'm sticking with the Niners on this one.
I think Seattle's offense with their wide receivers, San Fran's deep backs are a little suspect this year. Those 2 wide receivers are having a great season over there. Jackson and Nick, I can't even say his name, Smith. And then, of course, Cooper Kupp, right?
Yep.
So,
all right.
So the other game that matters big time for the first game we talked about, New Orleans goes to Atlanta. If Atlanta wins, the Panthers get in even if they lose to the Bucs. New Orleans
Yeah.
has been playing well all of a sudden. They could be 8-9 if they win this game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, New Orleans right now is probably playing the best football in that division.
Atlanta.
I mean, New Orleans is,
Oh,
yeah.
no,
And
okay.
New Orleans is, I think. Atlanta's too up and down. Like, they'll play a great game like they did
Against the
last week and beat the
Rams, they beat the
Rams.
Buffalo Bills earlier in the year, right?
They
So
beat the
they
Buffalo
have some
Bills.
big wins.
They almost beat the Patriots. The Patriots won by 1 point. But then they lose to crappy teams too. That they're just a weird team. But that inconsistency has me questioning because they kind of like come off a win, then they lose. After coming off that win last week against the Rams, I think this is a letdown week for them. And right now, like I said, the best football in the NFC South is being played by Tyler Shuck and company in New Orleans. I'm going to go Saints in this one. And hey, that'll keep Carolina in the playoffs, even if Carolina loses.
I'm going to go Atlanta. I think a couple extra days rest, haven't played on the Thursday night. That's going to help them out. So I get Atlanta.
All right, and so does G Money. G, so far you and I are different on all three picks.
Wow. All right. All right. Green Bay goes to Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't have anything to play for in this game. JJ McCarthy's going to play. I don't know why they're going to play him. They've got nothing to play for, but he is going to play. What do you think of this game?
Is Jordan Love playing or is he still out?
You know what? I have not seen that yet. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Okay. And not that Malik Willis is too shabby of a backup, but
Malik Willis could be
Minnesota's
playing for the starting role at Pittsburgh next year.
yeah, right. Minnesota's defense is legit and they're pretty good. And Minnesota's playing for some pride here. Green Bay is not moving out of the 7th seed. If they even continue to start their starters come the second half, I'd be surprised. I'm taking Minnesota.
For that reason only, I'm taking Minnesota. I think they do sit some guys to get a little bit of a quasi bye, and Minnesota ends up pulling that game out. But
Yeah.
don't be
And you,
surprised. Don't be surprised that half the and team on defense says, you know what, we're tuning up on this game. So we'll see. But
yeah,
I'll take
Chima's got
Minnesota.
Minnesota too. So we got
Okay.
that across the board. Yep.
All right. Lions go to the Bears. Who would have thought when this schedule came out at the beginning of the year that the team hosting this game, the Bears, were the team going to go into the playoffs as the NFC North champions? But that's exactly the case here. Do the Lions show some balls and come out and win this game?
Yeah.
Bears got nothing to play for.
Yeah, and it's at Chicago, so they're playing outside the dome. That's not their specialty necessarily, but you know what? They have a lot of pride at stake in this game, and they just want to put a statement on this season and say, "Hey, we didn't make the playoff, but let's go in the next year. Let's win a game against what is considered a decent team." They waxed Chicago earlier in the year, right? So this is one of those. It's tough to beat the same team twice, but to your point, Chicago's jockeying either for 2 or 3. They either get the 2 seed or the 3 seed. Doesn't make that much of a difference. You're playing on at home either way. And if you ever have to play the number 1 seed, you're playing them on the road either way. It doesn't matter. For that reason, I think Detroit's going to just come out all guns blazing in this one. I'm going to take the Lions.
I don't want to take the Lions, but I'm going to take the Lions because I think Dan Campbell gets them rallied up. I mean, people are already talking about the Super Bowl window has closed on this Lions edition going forward. Dan Campbell's going to use that as huge motivation. I bet that's posted all over the locker room. And I'm with you. The Bears with nothing to play for at this point in time between second and third. I think they rest a few players. I think the Lions win that game.
Okay. And G Money actually took the Bears.
Oh, okay. All right. The last game of the entire regular season, Sunday night, comes down to the other North, the AFC North, Baltimore and Pittsburgh for the division championship. Lamar is supposedly going to play, I guess they're saying. I personally don't, and I'm a huge fan. I don't want him to play. I don't think he's healthy enough to play. And I think with Tyler Huntley, they understand what their game is. They're a running team like they did with Derek, 212 yards, 4 touchdowns a week ago. I'm taking Baltimore to win this game. Hopefully it's because Tyler plays and not Lamar.
Yeah, and here we go again, right? With a team that, they play twice in the year. The first game Pittsburgh won the first game, right?
Yeah,
Did
in
they?
Baltimore, correct. Yep.
In Baltimore. So,
And that was just a couple weeks ago.
yeah, so it's tough to win against the same team twice, like you said. I think roster wise, the Ravens have a better roster. TJ Watt, I don't know if he's playing yet.
They say now he's going to play. They say now he's going to play. That's interesting. I mean,
that's
playing with a collapsed lung is kind of
yeah, it seems a little much. And really all you got to do, I mean, I guess the thing that I don't like about this is if Lamar's hurt and TJ's playing and they can contain Lamar and force him to throw the ball, that's where Baltimore starts to, falter. And he just never seems to come through in a big game. And Rodgers does. So it's just, I'm so back and forth on this one. I actually said, you know what, I'm going to take Baltimore. And then I went back to Pittsburgh. I don't even know what to do. I could flip a coin right now and see where it lands, and that's who I'm going to pick. But
tell you what. So, by the way, the subplot in this is the two head coaches. The loser may not have a job next year, at least on the team he's on right now, Tomlin and Harbaugh, which I think is total blasphemy, right? But the one guy who will definitely lose his job if they do not run the ball to Derek 30 plus times is Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator. If Derek doesn't touch the ball 35, 33 times in this game, Monken's done, right? At the end of the day. So he's coaching for his job, in my opinion. That's the guy that's coaching for his job.
And you know what? I know it's the NFL and anything can happen on any given Sunday, but Buffalo or Houston is going into Pittsburgh or Baltimore next week and going to wax them. So whoever wins this game, I don't think has a chance of getting out of the first round.
Well,
either way.
Same as the South, right? The NFC South. That's same thing there, right?
Yeah, because they're going to have to face like a Seattle or LA or something like that, right? Or San Francisco. I'm just going to, what the heck? I'll go Pittsburgh on this one. I don't like either team. I don't know why I'm taking Pittsburgh, but you can maybe convince me to take Baltimore, but I'm not there. G Money has Pittsburgh. You have Baltimore. We've established that. Oh, I don't know. See, what should I do?
Go with your original thought. I mean, does Aaron Rodgers play like Aaron Rodgers of 5 years ago, or does he play like Aaron Rodgers of the last 2 years? And if that's the case,
I'm going with Baltimore. All right, I'm switching it. I'm going with Baltimore. Baltimore has the better roster. I'm going with the better roster. I'm going with Baltimore.
By the way, if Baltimore wins this game, is it Aaron Rodgers' last game in the NFL?
Yes.
I think so, too. All right. With that, goodbye, Aaron Rodgers. The Aaron Rodgers era ends tomorrow by around 11:20 tomorrow night. Thank goodness it's over. Good show, PB. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Enjoy the games.